Hi guys, it's Saturday and it's time to talk the Real Housewives of New Jersey. I've been so excited to give you guys this tea. I have been working on it for the last couple of weeks with Sherelle from Sherelle's World, and finally we were able to do a video yesterday and come forward with the mole from the Real Housewives of New Jersey. Who's been giving that information to the bloggers? Who do you guys think it was? Well, you're about to find out today. If you didn't yesterday, that's okay. I know it's hard on Fridays. I'm here to give it to you Saturday morning, afternoon, whatever time of day it is. And so let's get started. Make sure you hit that like button and follow so you don't miss anything that we have coming. Okay, Real Housewives of New Jersey. I hope I can remember everything because there's just so much and I had notes and they're gone. Melissa is the mole from the Real Housewives of New Jersey. I'm going to tell you guys that, okay? Just marinate on that for a minute. Comment below. Let me know what you guys think. But let me go back in time a little bit, okay, guys? Sherelle's World is a great YouTube channel. It has over 300,000 followers. I love and respect her. She was so lovely to me. Her whole team was lovely to me. And I got to be on her show yesterday. As she revealed, Melissa is the mole from the Real Housewives of New Jersey, giving bloggers the information on Louis. Okay. Go back to her video if you want to see me on there. I'm going to give you guys all of the information just as much as she did yesterday, but we're going to also focus on a couple different things. So, back in February, I did a video on Louis' ex, Vanessa. He has two exes, okay? He has two exes named Vanessa. One of them is dating Dolores' ex, David. Don't believe me. I did a video back in February. People gave me a ton of shit for it. Dolores came out a couple days later and did a whole article in OK Magazine and said, yes, David is dating Louis' ex, Vanessa. And then Andy Cohen asked her about it. He also asked her about it and she confirmed it. So that was true. So when I did all of that, I also included a video of the first Vanessa because that's who Louis had actually dated the longest. And she was in the mental health field. She was a pretty blonde lady, but she had a video where she's like wearing this elephant necklace and she says, now mind you guys, remember that this was back in February, okay? So we hadn't seen the episodes. We hadn't seen, I don't even think it started. I mean, we're already at the end of the season, which is like crazy to me how short the season was of New Jersey, but we weren't watching New Jersey in February, okay? So I just thought that this video of her talking about how she bought this necklace off of RHONJ website and it's, it stands for warrior, and it just seemed like they had to have known each other. They had to have corresponded at some point, because what was the probability that Vanessa would pick a castmate out of New Jersey randomly without seeing the season and go to their, I didn't even know Marge sold jewelry. I had no idea. Did you guys know that she sold jewelry? Because I had no idea. What's the probability, though, that this lady would pick Marge out of all the women on the cast? And it would be kind of ballsy to do that to anyone that was on the cast if you hadn't corresponded or talked to them yet. I mean, that would just be someone that you don't know. When you're an ex of a cast member of a show, you're going to go on and just randomly pick someone and go buy their jewelry and then shout them out in a video. I don't know. That seemed really, really suspicious to me. And that's why I'm telling you guys, if you haven't seen that video, go to my Instagram, HW Historian. I'm always posting tons of receipts over there. It seemed like there was some sort of relationship or correspondence between Margaret and Louis' first ex, Vanessa, okay? So that's what started the whole thing, with Sherelle that was on her show, and she was saying, like, Marge has got to be the one feeding the blogs all of this information. And I do think that Marge had a huge part. I think Marge and Melissa were co-conspirators, and let me tell you why that is. Marge does know everyone, okay? And her people got people and they got people. And she's got foot soldiers in the salons, in the grocery stores. She's got people everywhere. So I think that Melissa and her got together and Marge did the legwork. She sent out her people and they sent out their people who sent out their people to get these women, find out what happened, get what dirt they could. And then they brought it to Melissa and said, do with it what you will. Now, Melissa had to find a blogger that she could trust. She definitely couldn't have had anyone on her team do the dirty work because she wouldn't want to leave a loose end or someone that could later come back and say that she did this maliciously. Because, guys, Melissa's defense is that she did this because Teresa wouldn't listen to anybody. Teresa would not listen to her family. She wouldn't listen to her friends about Louis. So Melissa thought the best thing to do would be to get all of this information on his exes and give it to the blogs, because if the blogs say that it's true, then Teresa has no choice but to face it, and she, will have to see what kind of a man Louis really is. I don't buy that bullshit for 1 second. Not for 1 second. Guys, that is not why Melissa did this. But I do think Melissa did this, okay? We know that Joe Gorga also walked off the stage at the reunion. I don't think that had anything to do with Gia. Andy Cohen had to tell Teresa to go get him. Yeah, I don't think that had anything to do with Gia. I think he walked off because something big is going to happen between Melissa and Teresa at this reunion. It's bound to happen, okay? So we have to talk about Dolores, because she's saying, the wedding's going to be in August. We've got Dina Manzo as a bridesmaid. I did a video on that a couple of weeks ago. Now, Dina, here's the thing. Dolores wasn't at the engagement party, and I gave you guys the reason why. Now, Sherelle's World, Sherelle reported that Dolores isn't going to be at the wedding because Dolores broke loyalty. And she didn't leave with Teresa at the restaurant. She stayed with Margaret. And Teresa said in her after show confessionals that she did not like that, and that Dolores had broken the loyalty. And I'm here to tell you guys that's a lie, because Teresa can't have Dolores at the wedding, and she couldn't have Dolores at the engagement party either if she wants to keep Dina Manzo as her maid of honor. We all know, if you don't know, I'm going to recap her really quickly for you guys. Dina Manzo was married to Tommy Manzo, which would be Carolyn's brother-in-law. They got divorced. She remarried. Her and her husband fly home from California to New Jersey to film and to be a part of Adriana's, it was one of the Catholic ceremonies, her confirmation, baptism, something like that, because Dina's her godmother. The same day that they were home and filmed, they went back to their townhouse that they keep in New Jersey, and they were met with 2 intruders in the home that zip-tied them, blindfolded them, and robbed them, okay? That crime was later proven, sorry, low battery, guys. It was later, Tommy, her ex-husband, was later convicted of that, and Carolyn wrote a letter in support of getting Tommy out of prison. So Dina has simply had nothing to do with Carolyn in years and years and years, and that was her stipulation. Like, Teresa, yes, I will be your maid of honor, I love you, but I don't want anyone around that has any affiliates, associates, conversations, anything like that with Carolyn, or anyone that knows Tommy or knows any of those people, because she doesn't want them knowing where she's at, where she's going to be, what her schedule, she doesn't want to know that, because that's what happened last time she was home in New Jersey. People knew that she was home, and then she ended up, going through a home invasion. So that's why Dolores was not at the engagement party, and that's why she's not going to be at the wedding. She's still good friends with Carolyn. She's posted Carolyn on her story, her Instagram. We saw the pictures of them in LA together. So it's pretty common knowledge that Dolores talks to Carolyn, and so therefore Dina doesn't want her anywhere around, and Teresa agreed to it. So I think that the whole loyalty thing is just like an extra bonus for Teresa to use as an excuse, because I don't really think that she's mad at Dolores like that. I think her and Dolores kind of have an unspoken bond with each other, because they've known each other their whole lives. They've known each other's families, and so I think that's why they don't really come for one another or really get upset with one another. But yeah, that is what's going on with that. Now, here's where it gets really juicy again, guys. Now, we talked about how Teresa thinks that that the blogger is David from Behind the Velvet Rope, okay? That's who Teresa, when in the episode when she says this specific blogger, it's always the same blogger, she means David from Behind the Velvet Rope. Now, David had Kim D on a couple of weeks ago, and then he had her on again after last week's episode, and she's just giving us so much tea, guys. She just really is. I mean, she's pissed at the Gorgas, and that is great for us, because she is really giving it to us. So, first of all, Kim is friends with Louis' ex, Vanessa, okay? We can corroborate that. Sherelle confirmed that information. Yes, Kim's, yes, we can 100% say Kim for sure is friends with Vanessa. She said we could. Her next statement is she corroborates and stands by the fact, yes, Vanessa is suing Louis for $10 million. This man has a lot of civil cases out there. And I said that in a video like last week, but add this one to it, okay? He's going to be getting sued by her for $10 million. Now, let me give you a little bit of the rundown here. Apparently, this is the second Vanessa. This is Vanessa 2.0. She's the younger one. She doesn't have the type of means and money that the other Vanessa has. I think that they're still in civil cases, but regardless, she doesn't have that type of money. So Louis has been kind of like keeping her down, if you will, or putting her through the ringer, or this is like his way of making her life hard by suing her, because it's not free to get sued. It's not free to go to court. It's not free to have an attorney. You have to pay for all of those things. Every time that attorney files paperwork, she's paying a fee. So who can afford like a great attorney if you don't have those kinds of resources and money? So Kim D was like, come here, baby girl. Come here. I'm going to take you under my wing. I'm going to put you in contact with this bulldog attorney out of New York City that's my attorney, and he's going to go to court with you, right? And I'm going to go to court with you too, and I'm going to, walk you in there and help you get through this. Allegedly, she was in the courtroom. So what happens in the courtroom is what's really important, guys, because apparently Louis admits to the magistrate that all of these allegations were not true, that he made them up. And, these things did not happen. Some of them did happen, but it was actually him pouring bleach on her clothes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So him and his attorney, they want to drop the civil case against Vanessa because the allegations aren't true, right? Well, this bulldog attorney that Kim D got Vanessa was like, I don't think so. You just been taking this girl to court. You've been taking her money. She's been having to miss work. And you've been trying to sue her. You've been stressing her out. And now we're going to sue you for $10 million because you're going to pay her attorney fees. And then you're going to pay for emotional distress and all the time that she missed off work. And, just whatever we kind of feel like we want to ask for, that's what we're going to. And bet you that he's probably going to have to pay her something. He's going to have to pay her legal fees. If he admitted on a court doc in the minutes, it was recorded, it was on the record that those allegations were false, then he's going to end up paying her attorney fees. Regardless, Kim D is friends with her. So she knows all of the tea because this is Louis' ex directly. She dated him. She knows him. So Kim D knows what's going on. And Kim D is not happy with the Gorgas. Guys, if you follow my Instagram, then you've definitely seen the tweets. What happened was Joe Gorga it just seemed like for a long time after Melissa knew that she wasn't going to be a bridesmaid in Teresa's wedding. I don't know if Teresa and Joe were holding off on doing press or saying much about Teresa until they found out what was going to go on with the wedding, that the wedding's in August and that, Melissa will not be a bridesmaid. It seemed like they were on just podcast after podcast after podcast. And I was just hearing it over and over and over. They were just talking shit about Teresa. And I think that's when she was in the hospital pre-reunion. Joey even did a podcast talking about the christening. That's how far back he went in time, talking about the christening because that was their first episode and that fight broke out. And he said that producers were clapping afterwards because it was such great reality TV with all of them fighting like that. The producers were literally high-fiving. But what's more importantly is that the person interviewing said, what is your relationship like with Kim D? And he was not so nice about it. He basically said that she's trash. He doesn't speak to her. And then he insulted her looks. Yeah, he insulted her looks. Kim D does not know this happened. And so she was on the Behind the Velvet Rope a couple of weeks ago with David. And he asked her, probably on purpose because he probably knows that Joe Gorga has said this, but he knows that Kim D doesn't know that. And he says, what's your relationship like with Joe Gorga? And she gives a really professional kind response and says when I see him out, we say hello. We're polite to each other and I don't have anything bad to say about them. Well, then fast forward, she ends up finding out what Joe Gorga said about her, previously. So she was pissed. So she went on Twitter, all this on my Instagram, and she started tweeting. And she said that basically that's not the fact. She tweeted a photo of Joe, Melissa, Kim, and I don't know if it was a fan, but they were clearly at a restaurant. They were wearing cocktail dress attire. And it looked, I think it had a timestamp of a couple of months ago. And she tweeted that as proof. Look, yes, they do. When we were out, we do talk. We took photos with, a fan. What is he even talking about? And she calls him an asshole, sorts of other things. But now she's really dropping the tea when she does the podcast, because she said that there was a lot of rumors that during the pandemic that Joe, owns apartment buildings and they didn't have heat, and some of them had rats and rodents, and the tenants didn't have anyone to call for help, and that it was just a very, very bad situation. She also said that he couldn't go get timber anymore. I'm not sure if that's because you get timber on a credit, or you have to have some sort of an account, because she said that he cannot get timber like anywhere in New Jersey right now. He has to send other people to get it for him. So I'm not sure if he has a balance with a timber yard or how that runs. If you know, please let me know in the comments below. What else did I want to mention? I think that's it, guys. I can't